Hey everyone, and welcome to the Beyond Life and Fitness podcast. I'm Cheryl Patton.
And I'm Meaghan Prince.
We started this podcast as a way to connect with more people who are struggling to fit it all in. The workouts, the food, kids, work, and relationships.
We know that we're not perfect, but we hope that through our struggles and our mistakes and our failures and our successes that we can help more people through their challenges and be successful. So if you want some tips and tricks to help you along your journey to be the best version of yourself, then this is it.
All right, we are finally back. It has been quite a while since we were able to record a podcast, which is fine. We've been all really busy, but we are finally back. And today we are talking about focusing on getting strong versus weight loss. And for me, how I kind of saw that or understood it, or kind of my idea behind it, is taking the focus off on strictly what the scale is saying, and use that scale as a byproduct measure of the other habits that you are trying to install, which is trying to eat more healthy foods, whole foods, trying to exercise, move your body on a regular and consistent basis, put your focus more on that tunnel, and then whatever happens as a result of it is sort of that positive byproduct. Yeah.
And I feel like people want to go backwards though. Like they need the scale to tell them, because if not, like we see it all the time, is that there's 2 or 3 weeks, I think, where people will go strong, go hard, and then they don't see the results.
Yep.
And then they just quit.
Yep.
So it so much comes down to, actually adopting a healthy lifestyle. And I think the focus all the time for women is on weight loss. Everything is always on weight loss. And nobody focuses on, like we talked about, getting stronger, which actually builds more lean muscle mass, which actually burns more calories on a daily basis.
Which is actually the look people are after in the first place.
Right. Which is, people are like, I just want to be toned. And you're like, what the heck does toned mean? Toned means you put on lean muscle mass. And as we know, lean muscle mass, you can't be eating in a calorie deficit all the time. You actually have to be either eating at your maintenance calories or eating more than that, so you can actually build muscle. But people's focus, women's focus especially, is always on weight loss. I want to be skinnier, I want to be thinner, I want to lose weight. And it's not necessarily on, I want to have less stress, I don't want to be as tired, I want to have more energy, I want my blood pressure to go down. But none of those things, it's always weight loss.
Yeah, and I think because that is how it was sort of brought or introduced to us way back in, I don't know, I'm thinking like the 70s and 80s. You know, like we were told, well, you're going to exercise so that you can look and weigh a certain way, right? You're not that you're going to exercise so that you feel stronger, you're more resilient, you have a better immune system, you're able to look after your family better, you're able to do whatever at a much higher level than you are now. It's all about, no, you're going to exercise so that you're going to burn those calories so that you can fit into that size 0 or whatever the case might be. Right?
And that's how it's always marketed. Exercise is always marketed as fat loss. Exercise is marketed as let's be skinny.
Yeah.
Exercise is marketed as, just losing weight or whatever. And I heard like this funny reel on Instagram that was like, I'm not working out to be skinny anymore. I'm working out so that people say that bitch carries all of her groceries in one load.
Yes,
and I'm like, yeah, I do. And this is, and as we're talking about it, and you're dieting, and I'm actually not dieting for the first time in probably a really long time. I'm eating at maintenance. I'm feeling so much more energy and all that kind of stuff, that people are like, oh man, like lately they're just like, oh my God, like you just look so whatever. And I'm like, yeah, because it's so funny, because when I felt thinner, I wasn't getting those comments. But then when I feel like I'm fuller and I'm healthier, and you carry yourself differently because you feel better.
Yeah.
Whereas the focus always, exercise has always been introduced to us as, let's lose 5 pounds, let's start exercising so that we can lose weight, so we can fit into those jeans, so we can do that stuff. It's never been like, I want to feel better, so maybe I could start exercising. I want to have more energy for my kids, so maybe I should start moving more.
Yeah.
I don't want to get a knee replacement when I'm 50, so maybe I should,
strengthen up the muscle all around the knee. Yeah.
Right.
Knee, hip, shoulders, you name it.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think now we're moving into this new phase, I think, where I've seen so many people on Instagram posting these things like when I was 110 pounds and they're lifting and they're so tiny and they probably were so strict in their diet, and then it fast forwards like a couple years later and these girls have like these booties and they're bigger and they're like 150 pounds and they've gained like 40 pounds, but it's almost like these reverse transformations that we're kind of seeing now, which I really love, because you don't walk into the gym and think that every girl in there has to have this ripped six-pack. Like, we're walking into the gym and there's girls that are like just want to be in there to be fit.
Yeah.
They don't have to fit this mold of what we need to look like.
And the other thing too, like when you say that reverse transformation, I'm going to say that it's a reverse transformation in a positive way.
So much.
In the sense that, they're still eating good, whole, nutritious food.
Right.
They're still exercising. They're challenging themselves by lifting heavier weights whenever they can. They're not doing a reverse transformation by eating strictly all fast food. They've stopped all exercising and that's how they've gained that extra weight. They've gained, right. They've gained that extra weight in a very positive, healthy way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it all comes down to like that mindset too, right? I posted a while ago, of when I first started competing. I think I weighed like 118 pounds, and then to when I just did my photo shoot when I was 40. So it was like a 20-year span, or 15 years maybe. And I think if I would have looked at that 10 years ago, I would have been like, if I could go back, if I could be 10 years ago and look at that picture and say, oh my God, in 10 years I'm going to look like that, I would have been like, oh my God, that's letting myself go. Now I look at that reverse transformation and go, oh my God, I'm so proud of myself, because now I don't think I have to restrict myself. I'm loving my body in a way that's healthy, whereas before I wasn't. So I feel like I'm that person that's like that reverse transformation too, but it's a mindset change, because you're like, in your head, it's not like, because you weigh more.
Yes.
Your clothes are bigger.
Yes.
Like, so how can that be a good thing?
Yes.
But it actually is a good thing if your brain is functioning like optimally and your thyroid's functioning optimally. So I think
100%.
that's where women, especially like as we're aging, get into this thing where they think if they train the way they used to train, they're going to get the same results, where our bodies are changing. Our bodies need different things. When we're 40, our body's way of dealing with stress is not as efficient as it was when we were 20. Like, we could stay up all night drinking, get up, work the next day, and then go back out again and dance all night.
Yep.
And like now it's like, no, I need sleep, I need to like eat, I need like normal, like I need, it's like this, reverse transformation on our energy too, right? Because we need to change how our bodies are not as efficient with dealing with stress now. Yeah. So we have to be so careful in how we manage what we're doing in our
100%.
life.
And exercise is a stress. And I know as we get older, because I'm like almost 8 years older than you, that the way that I train now versus how I trained even in my early 40s is a lot different. I actually don't train, I'm going to say, as much. Like, I'm still training. I still train myself 5 days a week, but some of my training lasts half an hour.
Right.
That's it.
Right.
And like, I'm done.
Yeah.
Right? Some days are only 45 minutes. I'm not there for an hour and a half, just grinding it out, trying to lift as heavy as possible for as long as possible, because I can't recover from that.
Right. And that's the thing. I used to be able to recover from these really heavy workouts so fast. And now I'm like, oh my God, like we're like 3 days later. It's like, and I'm like, oh my gosh, my back's still sore, my shoulder's still sore, you know, like things like that.
And so like I know, and nutrition plays into that as well as we get older, because we have less stomach acid as we get older. So we have a harder time breaking down some of those more challenging protein sources. Red meat can definitely be one of them. And so it's learning to acknowledge those shifts as you go through it, and as you're eating foods, and like, oh, that doesn't really sit with me as well as it used to. I'm like, okay, so maybe not having it twice a week, maybe once a week, and see if that helps. And I know that's been the same with me. Like, I even had some, like, a food allergy test done, because I'm like, something is just way off anymore. And yeah, there were some suspicions that I had were confirmed, and then there were some other ones that came up as like cautionary foods. Even though they're very healthy foods, it's not something, I just can't have them every day. So you know, you space them out,
right?
And that's a part of the learning curve as we get older as well.
Yeah.
So
yeah. And I think as we're talking about nutrition too, and I'm talking about when you're 20 versus when you're 40, the muscle mass that you have built in 20 years, you have this mature muscle, right? Because there's the girls that are like training all the time and they look really fit, but there's this mature muscle mass that you get when you've been doing it for 20 years.
100%.
And slowly over those 20 years, your body needs more calories because you're putting on lean muscle mass more. So then you don't really realize it though. So and then as we get to 40 and then our metabolism does start to slow down, that women are just like, I need to lose weight, I restrict, diet, all that stuff, and then more exercise. Like, I know people that still like, no, I just jumped on the bike when I put my kids to bed, and I went and did cardio, and I'm like,
you're like, please stop.
Please don't.
Yeah.
Just please. Like, I remember I started training a girl for a competition. I think at this time she was probably 40, 45. And she was doing 20 minutes of cardio every single day after her workouts. And I was like, okay, first of all, we need to just stop that. Like, stop doing the cardio. Because she was already kind of thin. But I was like, if you want to put on muscle mass, like, the cardio is not going to help you. Plus, it's just adding more time and stress and whatever. So she stopped doing it. And I don't think I should ask her now if she's gone back to doing it, but she was like the cardio bunny every day. And then I gave her a meal plan. She started eating more, doing less cardio. And she's like, oh my God, and I'm seeing more results. And I'm like, But it's trying to like make people understand that and make people like go through that phase where you might be a little fluffy because your body's adjusting to eating food and calories. It's not like you're going to get 300 pounds. You're eating healthy food. You're just eating more of it. Yeah. But then you'll realize, I have energy. But as soon as people see the weight going up on the scale, they're just like, oh God, I got to cut out carbs. I have to cut out carbs. I have to eat this. I have to do this. And then it's like you quit before your body was going to start like
again. And it takes time for the body to adjust. Like, I know for me, because I'm getting ready for a show, you know, whenever there's a nutrition plan change, it takes anywhere from 7 to 10 days before my body has settled in to that new plan. So you got to give your body, maybe sometimes even 2 weeks, you got to give your body time to make those adjustments. And
I remember one time when I was training, I always had 6 meals a day, always 6 meals a day. And then I started training with this coach that put me on 5 meals a day. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so hungry. And he's like, oh my, like, it's just one less meal. But when your body's so used to something, like people that I've put them on meal plans before, and they're like, wow, this is a lot of food. I don't think I can eat this. And I say, just eat this for 2 weeks. And in 2 weeks, I promise you, you're going to tell me, oh my God, I was really ready for my next meal. Like, you're actually getting hungry. Yeah. Because
and probably wanting more food.
And it's actually a good thing that you're hungry. But I was like, just eat it. Just eat. Yeah. Like, because we don't give our body that. Yeah. So when we're talking about building strength, you have to eat. Cardio should be like limited if you're trying to build strength, right?
Yep.
Because I think HIIT cardio, it's very hard to recover from, and I mean, steady state cardio, I mean, is really good if you're doing stuff like walking, but like running is very hard and
it's very hard.
taxing
And again,
on your
like
body.
going for walks is just great for your cardiovascular health in general. And just getting outside and doing what our bodies were meant to do, which is walk every day. We're not meant to sit in chairs for 8-10 hours a day.
Yeah.
We're meant to be walking and moving around.
Right.
So again, I have no problems with people going out for daily walks. But again, depending on what their goals are, what they're setting out to do.
Yeah, and I have replaced 2 HIIT workouts. So I was training 4 days a week and doing 2 HIIT workouts because I thought 25 minutes, 2 days a week, I got this, it's good.
Yeah.
But my body was like, I would get to those HIIT workouts and it was like, no.
I'm not recovered.
No, you just can't. I try push. And now I'm doing like an hour, 45 minutes or an hour of walks on those days. And oh my gosh, just like my mind, my stress levels, my time to think. I wake up in the morning and look forward to walking, whereas before I'd be like, oh, I do not want to do that HIIT workout. I'm just going to do it really fast or whatever. So I think when it comes down to what are your actual goals, because most of the time people's goals are weight loss, but because they've been in a deficit or they haven't been eating properly or sometimes overtraining, not even training at all, then you have to kind of like make those adjustments to and not just say, let's just focus on the weight loss. Like, what is the actual outcome that you want?
Yeah.
And then the rest will come.
It just falls into place. You just have to allow that body time to make that adjustment. And that's the thing. Like, you know, even when I run challenges, and you know, again, you've done challenges as well before, like I want the focus to be on learning those new habits of just eating better food on a regular basis and just moving your body on a just focus on that. And then the scale is just that positive byproduct from installing these better healthy habits that are just going to serve you better for the long term.
And not focusing on just that, right? Because women sometimes, wherever your cycle is, if you've had extra salt, if you didn't drink enough water, if you traveled, like all that stuff, the scale's going to say different things, right?
100%.
Whereas, oh, you're making me yawn.
Sorry.
Yawn.
It's been a long day.
I know. But like measurements for sure are like a huge one, right? And are you sleeping better? Do you have more energy at the end of the day? When I ran a challenge, the biggest thing was that they were like, at the end of the day, like I came home from work and I fed the kids dinner and I cleaned up the kitchen and I still had energy to either go for a walk or to fold some laundry and stuff. Like I haven't felt like I've had that energy in a long time to do that stuff. Yeah. So I'm like, oh my God, that is focus on that.
Exactly.
Right? Because that's like self-love, when you're actually loving your body in a way that it's asking you to, right? Yeah. And not like...
Yeah, and not getting caught up in what a number on the scale says. Because there are some people, they'll step on the scale, and depending on what the scale says, that's going to dictate how the rest of their day goes, right? And that's unfortunate. It's really unfortunate. And, or, you know, they go into a store and they're not the same size, or they don't fit into the size that they think that they should be fitting into. And now that has just sent them down a rabbit hole of, I'm not good enough, I'm not small enough, I'm not whatever enough. And
and I think we've all been there, right? And then 100%. I think as I age and get older and realize that, okay, if I'm in a store and I put on jeans and they're not the same size that I want them to be, then I'm not loving myself properly, right? Because if we're binge eating, if we're staying up late, if we're drinking, if we're doing all these things, we're doing it because we're trying to like cover up something, emotion we're feeling. With women, it's always this emotion, right? There's always comes down to emotion. So then go down to the real problem and be like, okay, but
that's uncomfortable.
It's so uncomfortable and I hate it. And I've been doing it for the last like 3 years, I'm telling you, and I hate it. I hate feeling the feelings. But when you feel the feelings and you deal with them, then you're like, oh, okay, that's why I ate the whole pizza last night, because I felt unworthy, or I felt like I wasn't like good enough. So I just ate the whole pizza, and then you go and the whole thing spirals again. But if we actually go down and be like, okay, these jeans don't fit me right now, but what am I feeling right now outside of just the food stuff? Like, is my life too stressful? Do I hate my job? Is my relationship not good? Like, is there things in my life that I need to change so that I can be happier and love myself better? Because then in a month from now, if you make those changes, I 100% bet those jeans are going to fit you, because then you start treating yourself differently, because you like,
your body will let go.
Yeah, you let go, because we hold on to the like
100%.
trauma and stress, and your body's like, oh my God, I'm so fight or flight.
Yeah.
I can't stop right now.
Yes.
And then your body just doesn't know what to do. So it's just fighting in survival mode. Whereas if you change the outside factors, then you'll be able to like focus on the weight loss, right? You'll be able to focus on like what your body...
Change them, address them. Sometimes it's just a matter of, speaking out about something that's bothering you, rather than just, I'm horrible for this, I just won't say anything. Because I don't like to ruffle feathers. I'd rather just kind of, that's fine, I'll just back off.
Or burden people. But like before we even started this podcast, you're telling me about this really hard time when you had kids, and how it was really stressful for you, and all this kind of stuff. And those things I feel like are so important, because I'm in the stage at that point right now, and you telling me that this isn't going to last forever, I'm like,
there is a light.
I'm like, there's a light. Okay, this is amazing.
Yeah.
But I'm like one of those people, when I had kids and I was taking them to play groups and stuff, people would be like, oh, how are you doing? Like all the moms would be, I'm so great, everything's so good. And I'm like, oh my God, this mother, like I will tell you straight out how things are going, if you like it or not, because I feel like when I have those vulnerable conversations with people and really tell them, okay, this is really, my life is really hard right now, or this is really shitty or whatever, then they can kind of help me through that. Whereas if I'm just like, I'm fine, everything's good, and
meanwhile you're just like dying
silently, oh my God, I need somebody to like tell me this is normal, right? So like talking to a friend, being like, you know what, I had a couple people that came to me and were like, I'm suffering from binge eating. Mm-hmm. Like sometimes I just don't even think, my mind turns off and I just start eating. Mm-hmm. And so I'm like, okay, that's amazing. Like, talk about it. And it's embarrassing for people, but then when you open your mouth, it's like you release this 100%. Thing. If it's a counselor, if it's a friend, if it's your journal, if it's whatever, then I think it all comes down to like that emotional. We really went off topic, didn't we? We went
100%, but
we went from like weight loss to strength training.
But I think it does all tie in, right? Because if people are so hyper focused on just moving and eating for the sole purpose of hitting a certain number on a scale, a certain size in your clothing, whatever the case might be, right? Then that has psychological negative effects attached to it.
So much.
So again, I think it all ties in. It's all part and parcel. And so I think trying to, as you said, shift that narrative and said, rather than focusing on what the scale says, what your number says on your pants, whatever the case is, focus on how much stronger you feel. Focus on being able to do that, reaching that goal of whether it's the first pull-up, first push-up, first whatever. Maybe you finally nailed the technique on doing like a clean or something, or like you can, it could be endless what it could be, but shift that focus more onto establishing those healthy lifestyle habits, patterns that are going to serve you positively in the long run, rather than the quick fix, instant gratification type stuff that you can't sustain. And then when you can't sustain it, then you feel now like you're a failure. And when you feel like you're a failure, so then I might as well go back to doing what I was doing before, because I'm not worth the change.
Yes. And then you get really down again, and then you go back to the
it's a vicious cycle.
It's like a whole thing.
Yeah.
So I think you realize as you get older, because when you're younger and you start yo-yo dieting and playing around with those things, I know that there was a time when I was in, I think it was public school. There was like 2 days where I didn't even want to eat. I didn't even eat. I starved myself. Like just didn't eat at all. Because I was like, I wanted to be skinny. I wanted to do all this stuff. And then as you get older, your body has yo-yo dieted for so long that it's not going to respond like it did before. Like when you first started that diet, you saw all these results. It was great.
Yeah.
And then when your body now realizes, oh my God, she cut calories. Oh, here we go. We got to go into survival mode. So once we get to that point, and I think a lot of women suffer from ups and downs of weight, yo-yo dieting, calorie restriction, all that kind of stuff. When we get to that point when we're older, our body sees that coming and it's like, okay, here we go. We got to leave this fat on. We're not going to release any of this fat because this lady's going to starve us soon. So that's why it's so hard to talk to women and say, no, like we actually have to eat. We actually have to put food into our body.
Yeah.
And it might take a while of you not losing weight.
Yep. And seeing the scale go up.
Maybe a little bit.
Yep.
Yes.
Right.
But also let's just focus on like, you never have to diet again, ever again. And your body will actually like start responding.
Yeah.
Because if you...
And when you go out for dinner and you have dessert or you have some treats at home, your body's going to be like, oh, yeah, we'll just burn through that. No big deal.
Right. Right.
That's huge.
Right. Yeah. And then you're like, oh, I can have a piece of cake and it will be totally fine.
100%.
Yeah. So I think when we're talking about strength, weight loss and strength, it's like, do you want to, I don't know, like...
It's a mind shift. Mind shift.
Mind shift.
Mind shift. But you have to be the person, like you have to make the conscious decision to make that shift.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like you can have all the coaches in the world tell you what to do and how to do it, and it's gonna work no matter who you probably talk to. But if you don't make that mental shift in your head, that you're gonna do this and you're gonna stick with it for more than 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 6 months.
Right. And we all know, like when you've dieted, I've dieted. Like when you get down low, your energy just like drops. I would wake up starving. I would like not enjoy my training. Like you'd just be going just cause. So if you're focused on like, I just want to live longer. I want to look fit. I want to feel good during the day.
Yeah.
If you just focus on those instead of weight loss, everything else will fall into place. It's just really changing that narrative of like, I need to be skinny to be fit.
Yes.
Right?
100%.
And that's why I love those transformations, right? Because it's like, I did see somebody competed a while ago and a lot of people posted on her thing, I liked what you looked like before. Like you looked beautiful before you
100%.
competed, right? Like I liked your body before.
Yeah. Oh, I've got people ask, well, why would you do that? Like, why would you subject yourself to that? Mm-hmm. And for me, it's the mental and the physical challenge of it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Right, that's it. And honestly, getting to the stage weight is hard, but it's easier than reversing out of that rabbit hole.
Yes. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, because you're excited. It's like somebody was asking me about competing the other day and I was like, I always did it for me. Like I always did it because if you show up and you're trying to do it for other people or because you want to win a trophy, it's so hard to wake up and really stick to those challenges for the day.
Yeah.
Right? And not eat those things and whatever. But I really did it for me because it was so cool for me to watch my body transform, to see what level I could take it to. And that's awesome. Like,
it is.
And one day maybe I will again. I don't know. I just feel like the stage I'm in right now, it's not even a possibility, but it is just a whole different level of challenge, right?
Totally.
And it's fun. If you're doing it once, every 5 years, you know,
like this will be my
whatever.
first show in over 3 years.
Right.
So, it's been a while, and to be honest, like how my body is responding to the nutrition and the training now compared to over 3 years ago, it's like almost night and day. It's weird, like how...
Like it's better right now?
It's better. Yeah, it's better. Yeah, okay. It's better. So, and again, like you take it with you take your lessons out of it, right? So so when I'm in this particular nutrition and training phase, how is my body responding and how am I feeling? And then when it shifts to another one, okay, so like how is my body responding and dealing with that, right? And it's a learning, like it's a learning experience.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And I think
Right?
it's those people that consistently always want to diet, whereas I think bodybuilders sometimes do it the right way, where they reverse out of it. They have a maintenance phase, they have a building phase, and they go back to dieting. Then it's a healthier way because you've given your body like nutrition for a while, right?
Yeah, you've allowed it to recover.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think our main takeaway is for women to just stop focusing on weight loss. Yes, if you're 50 pounds overweight, of course you want to lose weight, but it doesn't come, your body's not just gonna be like, okay, if you eat 1,200 calories, let's do this. Just focus on being healthy and having energy, and then incorporating little things into your day and not giving up on those little things when you're not seeing the results that you want, and just keep showing up, keep showing up, keep showing up.
Yep. And do not weigh yourself every day.
No, and it's always at the time. I always tell people, oh my God, I wish she didn't have given up now, because I bet you in a week from now, that's when her body would have started responding. That's when her body would have started, like, it's always a give up right before. But if you just consistently add in those little tiny habits, like if you're not doing anything right now and you start walking 20 minutes a day,
You'll see huge changes.
like crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And people are like, there's no way 20 minutes of walk. I'm like, do it for a month.
Yeah. Or replace your breakfast, which was bacon and eggs or something, for like a protein shake and fruit. Just that. That's it. Or one of my clients just took out her 2 doubles, which was almost like 500 calories, because she got double cream, double sugars.
Wow.
And she just took out those 2, and she started losing weight, because that's
huge.
500 calories a day, which is
Huge.
a pound to 1 to 2 pounds a week.
Yeah, right there.
Like just your coffee. So it's like
Just your
little
coffee.
tiny changes that you can put into your life to give yourself more energy is so much more than weight loss.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can't focus on being skinny anymore. We have to focus on.
You have to focus on the other aspects of health and fitness that will eventually get you to whatever that goal is. Yes.
Yes.
Awesome. I love it. All right. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you on the next episode. Thanks everybody for listening today, and we truly appreciate you. And let us know what your biggest takeaway was today, and if you have any questions you want answered on the podcast. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe to this podcast to automatically receive your episodes and to help us reach more listeners. We would love to connect with you on our socials, either Facebook or Instagram, with links in the show notes. Till next time, keep taking those small steps towards your best life.